think we're okay. Good work in there.
All clear. Black Tusk appears to have abandoned the location.
Today, we dealt a great blow to the True Sun's infrastructure. We confiscated a massive cache of chemical... Today, we dealt a great blow to the True Sun's infrastructure.
Oh,
We
disgusting.
confiscated a massive cache of chemical weapons and eliminated a...
Okay. Four, 3, 4. Okay, so that's pretty high armor. I don't think so. Shoot me. Actually, I'm rogue. You shouldn't need to. Yeah. It cleared your armor. Yeah, this is a concussion grenade. What is up, guys? This is the Viper Stealth, and welcome to a video on the skill bomber build. This is such a fun build. I hope you enjoyed the little intro with the montage of blowing up enemies and also Dark Zone and other stuff such as that. It's a brilliant PvE build. It does work in the Dark Zone, but you don't have a lot of armor. But let's get straight into it. If you do enjoy this video, give me a like, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I'm going to take you through my bomber build right now. So first up, let's talk weapons. So what is very important with the skill bomber build is to make sure that we've got the talents needed to help us do significantly more damage. So let's start off with the assault rifle. There's a couple of things to talk about with the assault rifle, and the first one is the brand bonus of the assault rifle itself, which is 29% health damage. Now if you've got the assault rifle in your hands while you're using the skills, you do an extra 29% damage to enemies. So that's a significant amount of damage that you can't get on other weapons. So always make sure that the main weapon that you're rocking is an assault rifle. It could be anything you like. Some people like the military P416. I'm happy with the ACR. Either way, you're not going to be shooting too much with this build, but do try and get an assault rifle. The talents that you want are Spike and In Rhythm. So the third talents on each gun you get to use even if you're not using the weapon. So even if the weapon's holstered, you still get access to the third talents. And you're going to see in my secondary weapon and my sidearm that the third talents are also important. But for now, Spike is what we want to go for. On the odd times that I am shooting, I aim for heads as much as possible, because if I get headshot, then I do 35% extra skill damage for 20 seconds. So that's incredibly important. So In Rhythm is useful because every now and then, 5% of the time, any skill kill that I get refreshes the active skill cooldowns. So that's a nice little bonus that happens occasionally. I'm trashing so many enemies with my mines that this does proc quite often. My mine's on a 10-second cooldown, so this does come around quite a lot. I get to use 6 loads of mines within a minute, so the chance that I'm going to get an instant cooldown within a minute is quite high. Unfortunately, a lot of people have said that the mines count per mine for In Rhythm, but it's not. Like, the In Rhythm works on a basis that when you throw your mines, if all of them get a kill, that's not a 5% chance for each of the mines, it's a 5% chance for the skill overall. So if the Seeker mines get a kill, you've got a 5% chance. It doesn't matter if like all 6 get a kill or just 1, it's all the same. So that's the assault rifle. The secondary I've gone for is an LMG. This is designed for when a big fat boss comes out and he's an armoured tank unit and maybe the assault rifle isn't doing enough. I pick up the LMG. I've got unhinged on there, so that does a little bit extra damage, but it's just good for damage out cover and heavy elites. So maybe carry an LMG. Some people do go for the Merciless. I've not used it since they've kind of screwed it up in the update, so you could use that if you do want the extra explosive damage on your primary, but I actually prefer using the military M64. The reason why is because you can recalibrate the talents on this, and you can't recalibrate the talents on exotic weapons. So if we scroll down, you can see stop, drop and roll. If I get set on fire or any status effect, pretty much I just roll and I'm clear. I don't have any status effects. So it's pretty useful on a build that has such low armor and health to have stop, drop and roll. Not essential, like I said. You can put an exotic in here just to go for the exotic benefits if you want. Last up, the pistol. I've got a very useful one called Rooted, and this basically means that once you get into cover, your skill damage and healing is increased by 25% for 10 seconds. So what I normally do is I prep the bomber drone, I set the bombing run, and then I get into cover while it starts moving, because that just gives me enough time that once it kills the targets, I've got like 8 seconds left of Rooted, and that's enough time to throw my mines out and have my mines do 25 extra percent damage through that. So those are my 3 weapons. Recommend to go for a similar setup, so you want In Rhythm, Rooted and Spike. Make sure you get those, so very useful. Let's crack on with the gear. Now, in my previous bomber build, I recommended going for 3 China Light Industries. It is useful, it's an easy way to build a bomber build, but it's not the best. So I got a lot of comments that pointed out that you get a lot more build versatility if you go for Alps, which gives you your cooldown, and you can still keep 1 China Light, which gives you your explosive damage, but this loadout is pretty useful, and I'll go through it in each detail. So the mask, try and get your hands on something that has extremely high damage to elites. I think this does go up to something crazy like 50% or even higher than that, but anything over 40% you're hitting pretty hard. And skill haste also, try and get the skill haste as high as possible. Of course, if you find a mask that has something like this, like skill haste, damage to elites and destructive, you're laughing. What we want to do is get destructive in as many pieces of your loadout as possible, except on the gloves. You want to sacrifice it on the gloves, but I'll cover that later. So on your mask, that's what you want: damage to elites, skill haste and destructive. Moving on to the vest, I've got Petrov because it gives me 10% more LMG damage for those enemies. I've got 923 skill power on this piece, that's incredibly useful, and the talent destructive is great for, you know, just raining down that extra explosive damage on them. So try and get a destructive again, and very, very high skill power on the vest. You'll notice my skill power overall is just shy of 2,500, and that allows me to unlock all of the high value skill mods for my skills, so do try and get a decent enough skill power. I've got it up to 3,000 by using utility mods, but I'll cover that soon. Moving on to the holster goes up to 48% skill haste, or you can get like over 800 skill power on your holster. I just recently picked it up 806 skill power for holster, so I could recalibrate that over if I wanted to, but 800 here that I've got 799 is pretty good, and I've got destructive again there, so again, rack up that skill power, get destructive. This bag dropped for me today and I absolutely love it. It's God roll. I've got Alps, which is nice, extra skill power. I've got 2 attributes, one's 400 skill power, the other 37% skill haste, that's recalibrated, and the talents are just spot on. Tech support, so 25% skill damage for 10 seconds and 20% explosive damage, so I could not be happier with that. The lack of attributes, the fact that I've just got 2 yellow attributes instead of like a blue and a red, mean that I've got extra mod slots available, so that allows me to kind of choose exactly what I want to put in there. So this was God roll. If you can find something similar to this, go for it, but really the main takeaways from this is do try and find a bag that has tech support and destructive, and 1 yellow at least, so that you can stack some skill haste. Gloves, the reason why you want to sacrifice destructive on the gloves is because you want to go for terminate. So terminate works on a basis that once you destroy the enemy's armor, you get 35% skill damage for 15 seconds. So this is extremely useful. You might be sacrificing 20% explosive damage, but you're getting 35% as long as you strip an enemy's armor. The attribute can go up to 12%, so I'm just waiting to get a 12% assault rifle damage attribute on one of my gears, and then I'll recalibrate that over and do slightly more damage there. But again, it's Alps, so it gives me the second brand bonus of skill power, so I've got skill haste and skill power there, but those are the gloves, nothing too complicated there. Moving on lastly to the knees, you do want 1 piece of China Light in your loadout. I've gone for my knees, and China Light gives you explosive damage 10%. I've also got 28% skill haste here and destructive, so already you can see I'm racking up a lot of explosive damage. The damage to elites, a lot of people are asking me about this, but the damage to elites does work for skills. In the future, Massive are going to patch it so that they work for all skills, but at the moment they work for some skills. So damage to elites is incredibly useful, that's massive, but the destructive really does contribute. The tech support and the terminate kick in once you get aggressive. So that is the gear. Moving on to the 3 down here. Now the grenade is important. Most people that are running a skill build, I've noticed they forget about the grenade. The standard grenade is this one, the fragmentation grenade. It does just shy of 190,000 damage. Applies a little bit of bleed effect, but that's quite pointless. So if you compare this 190 damage to this grenade, which is just shy of 700,000, that's a massive amount of damage that you can do. And the skills underneath here, underneath the gear, are very useful. You can either go for the Firefly. I've had some people recommend that, but it just doesn't work for me. It does nowhere near as much damage as my drone and my mines. But I'll cover the mines first. So the mines, I've got a 10-second cooldown, so it's on 10.5 seconds. The damage is a whopping 427. I've got 10 mines that go out, so I could get the damage up higher if I wanted to, like over 500, like probably up to about 600,000. But I've stacked it for the number of mines, so I've got 10 mines going out. Just a quick note on how the mines work. For all 10 mines to go out, I need 10 enemies on the battlefield. If there are only 5 mines go out. That's how it works. And just to show you the mods that I've got here, I've got skill haste, damage, and extra mines. So you notice that all of these are quite high rolling. They've got a high skill requirement. So do make sure that you're carrying enough skill power in your build to get this. But that is extremely useful for making my mines hit very, very hard. And then onto my drone. So the drone is a 20-second cooldown. It's a little bit longer, but it's worth it. We've got explosive damage of 826,000. The bomb radius is 5.8 meters. If I want to, I can swap the bomb radius and put it down to 4 meters and take the explosive damage up to 1,200,000. So that's an option if you don't really like blast radius and you prefer to go for something harder hitting. But I've got skill haste here, blast radius, and damage. So again, incredibly useful, and it hits so hard, it's unbelievable. So those 2 skills are really, really powerful. You might be thinking I've got a lot of skill mods that are 3,000 requirement or 2,900 requirement. How I've managed to get those with my skill power being at just 2,484 is by using skill mods on my weapons. So now I'll take you through the little utility mods that I've got in here. So on my vest, I've got something that's extremely useful for seekers. I've got 408 skill power for my seekers. That gets me up to my 2,900 skill unlocks. On my holster, I've stacked explosive damage, so you can see the 5% explosive damage there on the utility mod slot. That helps the overall explosive damage of my build. On my bag, I've got a couple, but the utility mod slot is 4.5% explosive damage, so that stacks again even more. And on my gloves, I've got the drone skill power, so I've got 430 extra drone skill power. So do farm yellow hanging boxes in various locations. There's loads of videos online to show you where to find those. They drop gear and also utility slots, so you can find some really good stuff in there. You can also do a faction loot box run, and they give you slots to use for your gear, so it's extremely useful. So that is my loadout. It's pretty strong. I'm going to show you the stats quickly now. So you can see like loads of destructive appearing here. That's a terminate, tech support. If we scroll down, you've got all the talents here. But going into here, you're seeing the assault rifle damage is 33% with a tiny 2.5% all weapons damage bonus. So hits okay. The damage to elite's 50%. So if an elite's standing in front of me, I do around kind of 85% damage to them, which is nice considering this is not a DPS build. Not sure where the skill haste is here because they've added in skill haste that you can see. There it is, 100%. I would like to get that higher, but seeing as I've got 20 seconds and 10-second cooldowns, it's not too bad because I do have a lot of skill power, so I'm happy with the build overall. So I'm going to leave a text version of this build in the top comment, and I'll keep that top comment updated in case I improve this loadout in any way. There'll also be a link to Division Builder if Division Builder is updated from cooldown reduction to skill haste. So do take a look at the top comment, and if you've enjoyed this, if it's been useful to you, give me a like and let me know in the comments if you've got any questions. But thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Oh my god.